This is the Well Body Podcast with your host, Renee, the place where everyday women learn how to stop running on empty, reset their energy, nourish their bodies, and feel strong again. Let's get into it. Welcome back to the Well Body Podcast and welcome to another episode in our energy series. If you've been following along, we've talked about so far how food creates energy, how movement builds energy, and today we're tackling a huge piece of the puzzle, which is the nervous system. This is the episode I wish every woman could hear because so often when I'm coaching, when I'm talking to clients, when I'm responding to DMs, what they're describing is not laziness, it's not lack of motivation, and it's not a character flaw. It's generally a nervous system overload, and it's living in a world that pushes our physiology into stress mode 24/7. It's the constant on switch, the constant pressure, and the constant mental load. And if your nervous system is dysregulated, you will feel exhausted, overwhelmed, wired and tired, inflamed, bloated, anxious, unable to switch off, emotionally thin, burnt out. So today we're unpacking how stress affects energy, what actually happens inside your body, and how to use nervous system regulation to create more calm, stability, and sustainable energy. So let's dive in. So your nervous system is your internal command center. It regulates heart rate, digestion, hormones, breathing, blood sugar, energy production, sleep, emotional responses. And you have two main branches. You have the sympathetic nervous system, which is fight, flight, freeze, or fawn. This is your action system. It's meant to protect you from danger. So for example, if you were walking on the main road with your kid and you're going to walk to the playground and they have a ball in their hand and they're playing with that ball and they drop it on the road and then they start to go and run to grab that ball and you quickly respond and grab them, like that is your sympathetic nervous system in action. It is protecting not only you, but like others from danger. But today, danger looks like a never-ending to-do list, constant notifications, work pressure, finances. We're currently living in a cost of living crisis, to like kids, overstimulation, societal expectations, hustle culture, emotional load, perfectionism, comparison, like the list goes on, and most women are living in this state. Then we have the parasympathetic nervous system, which is your rest, digest, and repair. This is your recovery system. It's where digestion happens, it's where hormones regulate, it's where tissues repair, it's where inflammation decreases, energy replenishes, creativity flows, and calm returns. You need this state to feel human, but most women rarely visit it. And here's the key. If you spend too much time in stress mode, you will feel exhausted no matter how well you eat or how much you sleep. So we have both parts of our nervous system, our sympathetic and our parasympathetic nervous system for a reason. One's there to protect us from danger or protect others around us from danger. And the other is there to help us with recovery. So obviously we need both. We can't have too much of one or the other. We need balance, remember? But a lot of women are spending far too much time in the high stress mode. So there are some signs that your nervous system is dysregulated, and most women don't realize their exhaustion is nervous system driven. So here are some common signs: wired at night and exhausted during the day, waking up tired even after sleep, feeling easily overwhelmed, snapping or shutting down, afternoon crashes, tight chest or shallow breathing, digestive issues like bloating, constipation constantly, PMS intensifies, always feeling on edge, emotional sensitivity, feeling like you can't catch up, brain fog, anxiety or irritability, or needing sugar or coffee to cope. So this is generally not you being not disciplined or a weakness. This could be your physiology trying to communicate with you. This is your body saying, I am doing too much without enough recovery. Now, nutrition and movement can absolutely help improve your nervous system, right? But there are some other tools that we can look at today. And I just want to dive into how chronic stress actually drains your energy. So let's break it down at what actually happens in your body so you have a better understanding. Stress hijacks glucose and blood sugar. So when you're stressed, your body releases cortisol. Cortisol tells your liver to release glucose. Blood sugar rises, insulin rises, you have the crash, then you feel the exhaustion. This is why stress eating can happen. This is why afternoon cravings can hit. And this is why energy can feel unpredictable. Then number 2, we have stress that shuts down digestion. So when you're in fight or flight mode, digestion is put on hold. And this looks like bloating, constipation, reflux, undigested food, inflammation, and poor digestion is also going to equal poor energy. Now, if we're improving our diet, just a little side note, we improve our digestion, we improve those good gut microbes, which probably are going to help you to think clearer, think better, and help you to cope better with stress. Another reason why nutrition is so important. And if you haven't listened to the nutrition episode on how to improve your energy, I highly recommend you go and listen to that episode. All right, stress also activates inflammation. Chronic cortisol output wears down your tissues. Inflammation increases. This creates joint pain, skin issues, hormonal issues, and deep fatigue. Stress also disrupts your sleep. So you cannot sleep deeply if your cortisol is constantly high, especially at night. And if you're not sleeping, you're not recovering. Then we have stress, it messes with your hormones as well. So high cortisol suppresses progesterone, thyroid function, ovulation, metabolic rate, which all leads to low energy, okay? So why are women so burnt out? This is where we can get real. Women are experiencing chronic fatigue because they hold emotional labor, they hold the mental load, they overfunction, they don't rest until everything is done, they put everyone else first, they are overstimulated, they're juggling careers, motherhood, relationships, they really get true downtime, they don't have clear boundaries, they hustle, culture themselves into the ground. We live in this world where women want to do it all, which is fantastic, but women are trying to do it all at the cost of their health and actually like their identity too. And women are the default caregivers in most situations. And there are people out there that literally are doing it all. They have the most laziest husbands who don't pick up a finger. They come home and they expect dinner to be done, but she's been working all day. She's also been organizing the kids' activities. And then she's been also answering emails from school. And then she's also trying to answer emails from her boss. And she's stressed. She's got all these things going on. And the husband just goes to work and thinks he can come home and do fuck all. And this is draining and killing a lot of women, I'm very blessed in the fact that I have a beautiful, balanced relationship where I can work and do my thing and look after my kids, but I have my husband who will also go and pick them up and also run around and drop them to things and whatnot. So I do have a beautiful balance, but I do understand as well from working with so many different types of women that that's not the case for everyone. And a lot of women literally are in survival mode because they don't have a single ounce of energy or anything left to give because they're giving so much to everything else and everyone else. And so they're overfunctioning. And we've forgotten that we're actually cyclical beings. We try to live like machines, but we're not. We're human beings. And our nervous system pays the price. Our nervous system is paying the price because we're trying to do it all. So let's talk about some actionable tools that will help you and things that will bring you back into parasympathetic mode more often. So these are the tools I give to clients. Number 1 is breath work. Breath work is always my number 1 because it's the fastest shift. Deep nasal breathing instantly signals safety. You could try inhaling for 4 through the nose, holding for 2, and exhaling through the nose for 6. The long exhales tell the body that you're safe. So doing this for a few minutes can help you to bring yourself back down, especially if you've had a really stressful moment. Lowering your stimulation, and this is a massive one. Things like sound, screen, bright lights, noise, clutter, social media, all these things that actually inhibit your stress and your nervous system gets overwhelmed easily. And I want to touch on this one a little bit more because we spend way too much time on screens, constantly scrolling on social media, on apps, getting notified all the time. That all creates stress. Then we have bright lights, at nighttime when the sun goes down, we've got all of these artificial lights on in our home. we're watching a TV, all these lights that are like overstimulating and keeping us wired. Noises that really annoy you, like just get rid of things that make you feel overstimulated, or take the batteries out if you've got kids' toys that make you feel wound up. Like anything you can do to improve your nervous system and lower your stress, like get rid of them. And decluttering your home. I think this is the biggest one for a lot of people, is we live in a world where consumption is at its highest. We feel as though we need a thing for a thing for a thing. And then this creates this house full of stuff that's everywhere. Then we think we need to buy things to organize the things that we have, to store the things that we have. And then we have things for the things, you know what I mean? So like you might have brought, I don't know, an organizing box to store all of your tea towels that you never use. Like, why do you need a box to store tea towels you never use when you've got like 5 tea towels that you use consistently in your in your kitchen, sorry. It's like we have too much stuff, and then we need to like think about where to put that stuff and how to clean that stuff and how to organize that stuff. And then we're consumed by like having way too much stuff. I call it suffocation. Like we're suffocated by the stuff we have. Something I've personally learned a lot this year is decluttering. This year, not just this year, like in the last few years, is decluttering. And I've got rid of so much stuff. Like I used to be someone that would hold on to something because of a memory, or I'd hold on to something because it was mine when I was this age, or it was mine because I did that. And now I've really just like let go of all of that. I've got the beautiful memories in my mind. I have, photos and things like that, but I don't need to keep all the things. And so I've slowly been overhauling my house. And I do this every week at the moment to make sure that I only have the things that I want and need. And some of the things that I do and will still collect are my books, because I love my books. Like last night, for example, I pulled out a book that I read 5 years ago, and I've started reading it again because there are bits in it that I, believe it or not, forgot about. So for me, I collect my books. I love to collect, like I've got a couple little knickknacks from my childhood, and that's it. And I'm trying to do the same for my kids now. I've got little treasure boxes with their little knickknacks, and that's it. Everything else I've either donated, I've given away, kids' clothes I hand to someone else who has a child who's a year younger than mine, so I can hand clothes to other people, and like really trying to find a way to be more sustainable with the stuff in my house and the stuff that I own. And this has made a massive impact on my mental load, because I don't feel like I'm always having to try and catch up with cleaning and decluttering and organizing. Even my kitchen now, I have only like a few plates, a few bowls. I've gotten rid of heaps of stuff that we don't even use, like a few cups, a few mugs. I had like so many mugs. Like, why did I have 25 mugs? And I think it's because, over the years, people give you gifts, and you might get like a mug from this person, a mug from that person. Then you end up with like 20 different mugs. So I've like literally just trying to have the bare minimum of what I need. Last year alone, I got rid of 120 items of clothing that I even had like stuff from when I was 16 and I'm 31. So that feels so good and has taken a massive load off my mental. And I think if there's one thing you can do to help lower stimulation, it's to get rid of stuff in your house. Don't have so much stuff. And also, like, have grounding color in your home. Like, we don't need to live in a beige and white home. Add color, add greenery, because these can all be quite grounding, which brings me into the next thing, and that's grounding in nature. So having plants in your home can be a really grounding thing for your nervous system, especially if you don't live somewhere where there's lots of nature around you. But getting outside and having your bare feet on the earth is really grounding. Sunlight on your face is really grounding. Walking outside is really grounding. All of these things that we do out in nature regulate our body faster than anything else. Humans are so connected to nature, and unfortunately right now we're so disconnected from it. But if you want to feel good, get yourself outside, get yourself in nature. It's going to be the fastest way to help you regulate. So doing that, and then having bits of nature in your home. For me, that's plants and a few crystals, but mostly plants. I have plants everywhere, and it always makes me feel so good looking at my beautiful greenery around the home. Then we have movement. So walking will help reduce a bit of stress and cortisol. Mobility regulates the spine and the vagus nerve. Strength builds resilience to stress as well. So movement is not just physical, it's also nervous system therapy. And if you need more tips on how to move your body for better energy, go and listen to the movement podcast that we recorded the other day, because it links beautifully to what we're talking about now. Setting boundaries is really important. So energy leaks come from saying yes when you mean no. Ask yourself, what am I carrying that isn't mine to carry? Do I really need to pick up the phone and listen to such and such rant on about how much she doesn't like this person and how much she's stressed out at this person and this, that, blah, 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 blah. Like set a boundary and don't feel as though you need to be always the person that other people offload onto. And if they do, you need to respectfully just say, hey, look, I don't actually have the capacity to hold this conversation today. And I'm respectfully, unless we're not going to talk about something that's really uplifting, I just don't want to talk about this right now. So set boundaries, say no more too. If someone's constantly leaning on you for support and you're at the point where you've held them a lot and you just don't have the capacity to hold them anymore, say no, it's okay. You got to protect yourself too. So never feel as though you have to carry other people's stuff that isn't yours to carry, especially if you don't have the capacity to hold yourself. When you're in the space to hold yourself, totally you can hold others. And I think it's really important to give to others. But if you're constantly giving to others at the expense of yourself, then that's not a good thing for your nervous system. Also, rest before you crash. Most women only rest when they're burnt out. But it should be a cyclical thing. It should be rhythmic. Rest should be not reactive. And we only tend to rest when we're so run down or have the flu. But resting is your superpower. And if you spend some time throughout your week taking time to just rest and recover and restore, you feel good, you feel better, and you have capacity. So don't let rest be reactive. Be responsible about your rest and make it a priority in your life. Even if the washing needs to be folded, who gives a shit? Rest. You need it, obviously. Who cares? Grab that book. The washing is still going to be there when you're finished. Doesn't matter. It'll get done one way or another, but it's not stop making it a big deal. And if you have too much washing, you have too many clothes. So declutter. These are all great things for your nervous system. Honestly, they'll make a big difference to how you feel. And then you have the capacity to show up in other areas of your life that you currently might be finding you're not showing up for. All right. Eating enough. This is huge. And nutrition is everything. So under-eating is going to equal chronic stress. Chronically dieting is going to put your body into chronic stress. Skipping meals constantly and then binge eating puts your body in that fight or flight mode. So when you feed yourself well, your nervous system calms down. And if you haven't listened to the nutrition podcast on the energy series, I highly recommend you go and listen to that because it's going to help you understand the foods that your body needs to eat to actually feel less stressed and to feel more regulated. So energy is created from a regulated nervous system, from eating well, moving well, setting boundaries, decluttering your home, not taking on too much, not being the yes person to everything, setting boundaries, and also you can implement some of these cool little nervous system routines, and a few minutes a day is enough. And these are things that you might find a little bit weird, but are great. Let's stop putting weird labels on things and stop worrying about what others think, because that's also creating stress in your life. But a few minutes a day is enough of humming. So, stimulating the vagus nerve, shaking the body, like standing up and shaking, slow stretching. Dancing is fantastic. Really dancing with every angle of your body, moving your hips, shaking your booty, all these things that have been unfortunately sexualized are actually fantastic for releasing stress in your body. Do it at home, do it wherever, but dancing is fantastic. Cold exposure is another thing that can help as well. Cold shower can sometimes help. Journaling, letting all those thoughts down onto paper can be a great way as well. Meditation and breath-led mobility as well. So it's really important that we're focusing on things we can do to help regulate our nervous system consistently rather than being intensely all in on constantly trying to de-stress, because then it's stressful to try and fit in all these routines. So just literally some of these things that I've spoken about can make a massive difference on your nervous system and how you feel, okay? It doesn't need to be complicated. You don't need to go and book yourself into 5 breathwork sessions every week. Just do these simple things. And I think one of the best things a lot of us can do is stop buying so much shit we don't need. Honestly, it makes a big difference. That sounds pretty rough, but it's true. All right, so how can we build a nervous system that gives us energy? This is where we want to tie everything we've kind of spoken about together, because your body wants to feel safe, and energy thrives when your blood sugar is stable, you sleep deeply, your days have rhythm, your movement is supportive, your meals are nourishing, your nervous system feels safe, your boundaries are respected, and your inner world is calm. Energy is not created from hustle, Energy is created from regulation. So here are your little energy challenges for the week, and just choose one or two, but start with one. It's always important to start with one. Now, challenge 1 is the 2-minute nervous system reset. Every day this week, 4-6 breathing patterns. So breathing in for 4, holding for 2, breathing out for 6. And it's all nasal breath. So breathing in through the nose, out through the nose. Then I really want you to focus on a slow exhale, a long, slow exhale. Shoulders relaxed, jaw softened, and you're finding a space where you can do this 2 minutes every day. Challenge 2 is 1 hour of phone-free time every night. Tell your nervous system the day is done. And when you're responding to messages at 8 o'clock at night, to me, that does not feel like the day is done. It feels like it's still going, and that's stressful. So 1 hour of phone-free time each night, and I recommend that you do this an hour before bed, okay, rather than an hour, randomly in your evening. Do it an hour before bed so that you're telling your nervous system that the day is complete. Challenge 3 is sit in silence for 3 minutes each morning. Before the world wakes you up, regulate your center. So you can put on some nice music in the background, or you can have silence, you can be outside, but just sitting there in silence for 3 minutes and just reflecting and not judging the thoughts that pass through your mind, but just allowing them to come and pass through and just be. The next challenge that you could take on is 1 walk without headphones. Let the brain rest. These tiny little shifts create a huge energetic change. So sometimes we feel as though, and this is the hustle culture embedded in us now, we feel as though that if we're going for a walk, it needs to be productive and we should be on a work call, or we should be listening to a podcast or an audiobook, or I should be learning something, or I should be doing that, blah, 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 even though you might be listening to this podcast on a walk right now. But what I'm saying is every now and again, just be mindful about your walks and take in the surroundings. Leave your phone at home and kind of listen to the sounds, take in the textures, take in the colors, take in the nature that surrounds you, because this massively impacts how you feel as well. And it's so powerful. I'm not saying you can't listen to your headphones every walk. I'm just saying maybe 1 walk out of the walks you do it mindfully, because it will make a massive difference. Well, thank you for listening to this episode of the Well Body Podcast and diving deeper into our energy series. I really want you to take away that your nervous system is not weak. It's not broken. It's just responding exactly as it should to the environment that you're living in. When you learn to support it, regulate it, and work with your biology, your energy will rise naturally. If this episode resonated with you, please share it with someone who's always feeling overwhelmed, or leave a review to help this message reach even more women. In the next episode, we're talking about sleep, the most underrated, most transformative energy tool that we have. I look forward to having you join me in that next episode. Thanks for listening to the Well Body Podcast. If you enjoyed this episode, please leave me a review or share it with someone who needs to hear it. You can find more support, resources, and information on my website at www.beyondthebody.co. Until next time, I look forward to having you in the next episode.